Hi there, I am Statman Stubbs, and this is the Red Sea podcast. This is the Fab Four with a twist. We've got two of our Aussies on from the Red Sea Down Under. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the head-to-head records with Chelsea, Danger Men, Robbo Simakas, or Chimakas, as they say on Red Sea Down Under. Thoughts on the season so far, current transfer business, thoughts on the opposition manager, and also prediction to finish. Before we get introducing the guests, we'll roll with the intro and then I'll introduce everyone.
Tell the world we are Liverpool, champions of England.
We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Palestine to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. But Paisley and the Shankly, the fields of Anfield gold. We are all supporters, and we come from Liverpool.
Hi there, like I say, this is the Red Sea podcast. This is the Fab Four with a twist because, as you can see, we haven't got Southern Scouser or Thiago's father, 89. I'll come to you first. Peter from the Red Sea Down Under. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks. How are you? And it's actually feels good to do a show all together for the first time. And we're not all Australian, don't forget, from the Red Sea Down Under, because Jimmy's an imposter.
Yeah, true. And Jimmy, obviously we know know now that you're Scottish, but you're part of the Red Sea Down Under. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, very good, thank you, mate. Really excited to be on the show. Great to actually be back and doing pods with Pete as well. So appreciate the opportunity to chat all things Liverpool.
Yeah, no problem. Courtney, how are you?
I'm good. I've just finished work, so thank God for that. And I'm ready for it to be the weekend and for football tomorrow.
Before we go into the chat, obviously just the formalities. Anyone that's new into the chat, please go over and give us a like and subscribe. That goes with the same with the Red Sea Down Under. Obviously, please go over to their Twitter feed, and obviously we're all linked into YouTube anyway, so please make sure you give us a like and subscribe. Please keep the comments coming. It is your show as much as ours as well, so please keep the comments coming. So the first thing that we're going to mention today is just the recent head-to-head records with Chelsea. I'll just run through it. We've played 90 games at Anfield in all competitions, not just Premier League, and 86 at Stamford Bridge. The record at Anfield is Liverpool have won 25 games. Chelsea have won 43. There's been 22 draws. At Stamford Bridge, like I say, 86 games. Liverpool have won 50 of them, so massive difference. Chelsea have only won 13, and there's been 23 draws. Just a little bit more about it. The top scorers for Liverpool, Ian Rush on 10 goals in 19 appearances. You've got Roger Hunt, 9 goals and 16 appearances. Robbie Fowler, 7 goals and 17 appearances. Torres, fourth in with 7 goals and 8 appearances. And Steve Nichols, 6 goals and 14 appearances. So as you can tell, obviously, we haven't really got anyone recent. Torres is the most recent one out of that 5. Any of you guys in the chat, I'll come to you first, Peter. Were you aware of the head-to-head record? Did you think it was obviously as bad as that?
Yeah, I did not expect that at all.
No.
More so, I'd love to know the stats between since they fell into money to now, how much of those extra wins have come in. That will be interesting as well, because I didn't think they had won that many more than we have.
Yeah, exactly. Jimmy, I'll come to you next. Obviously, we've been a guest on the show. Did you have any idea of them sort of stats, and has anything surprised you in that?
It's actually really surprising. I would never expected those sort of numbers, especially the games at Anfield. That one probably was the most surprising. But I mean, history is history, but what happens in the next 24 hours is most important.
Yeah, exactly. And Courtney, anything surprising in them stats I've just read?
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising, but when you're going all the way back to that, it's one of them. Like, I think a lot of people are saying that with tomorrow, everyone's all riding on Lukaku. Everyone's like, that's going to be the end of the reign.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's more about focusing on tomorrow than what it is for the past.
Yeah, exactly. I have got it somewhere actually that the last 5 fixtures actually at Anfield, obviously 4th of March of this year, obviously Chelsea won 1-0. 22nd of July 2020, Liverpool won 5-3. That was the game that obviously we had already won the title. So it was a cracking game that.
That was Lampard's special moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Lampard's special moment when he kicked off with Klopp. 14th of April 2019, when Salah scored that wonder goal and Mane scored the first goal, 2-0 win. And the last 2 games have been 1-1 draw, so it's obviously very tight. Let's just go into the comments a second, because there is a few people that's commented on. Jericho, nice to see you in the chat. Hope you're well. He's saying hi, guys. We've also got Hector Joseph in the chat again. Please keep the chat coming. I believe, Hector, you were on the Red Sea Down Under earlier this week. Is that right?
That's our friend from Ghana. So that's
Ghana.
awesome.
All
Again,
right.
watching another show. That's cool.
No, it's nice to see fans interact, and just obviously in different parts of the world, it's nice to see. So, let's go on to the next topic. Danger Men. We'll obviously start with Chelsea. Courtney, I'll come to you. Where do you see sort of the key battles on Saturday evening?
So everyone's talking about it. It's Lukaku, and I'm pretty sure Virgil's going to play with Matip. I think that pairing is probably the best ones to combat him. I know that when the last time that we had Virg and Matip, and they played against Lukaku, it was 0-0 with United those years ago. And I think they held their own, and I feel like they can do that again on Saturday. So I know that he had a good game against Arsenal, but let's be honest, we ain't Arsenal. We ain't Arsenal. They're shit. Let's be honest, they're shit. We ain't Arsenal. So I think a lot of people that are coming out being like, like tomorrow it's going to end the rain, blah, 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 with Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Nah. Quote me on that.
Anywhere else, Jimmy? I'll come to you. Anywhere else you see the key battles other than Van Dijk and Lukaku?
Yeah, it's a really good option, or a really good point, the Lukaku one. I watched the highlights from the Arsenal game, and whilst Lukaku did score the goal, whilst he did look dangerous, the Arsenal defence was an absolute shambles, watching it from start to finish. I think looking at Chelsea, the way they've been playing with Lukaku up top in the last game, or in the game before that, was Timo Werner. They had Mason Mount and Kai Havertz sitting in behind. And I think whoever we choose as our defensive anchor, hopefully, my hope is it's going to be Fabinho. If we can have Fabinho in there to sort of manage with that threat coming through, especially from Mason Mount, who's looked really dangerous so far this season. I think that's going to be a key battle, but not only that, also looking out wide at Alonso. Alonso has been getting utilised a lot. He scored in the first game of the season, which was a free kick, but the balls that he's been playing in from out wide, they're perfect balls for a player like Lukaku. So how do we shut that down? That's going to be a really great battle to see with Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. Yeah,
exactly. And Peter, anyone else you want to add on to that? Where do you see the sort of key battle?
Yeah. I mean, if for those who saw the training ground show that we did a couple of days ago, leading into the Chelsea match with a full analysis on, danger men and everything like that.
Yeah.
The one that they used to kind of start all their attacking play is Jorginho. He's kind of the man who they give the ball to first, and then from there on, they kind of do what they do. I think if we can, the reason why I kind of said in our previous show was I wanted Firmino to start for that reason. I wanted Firmino to start purely because I feel like he's the best man available in the squad to make sure that the supply to Jorginho gets cut out completely. And I think that if we can get him involved with Henderson in midfield, I think between the two of them, they'll do enough to squeeze out Jorginho, because at the moment there's this, I call it, there's way too much hype on Jorginho. I think, he's nice and tidy on the ball, and he's good in possession, but they're acting like he's the second coming of Christ. It's just, it's frustrating. And I kind of hope that we nullify him completely on the weekend, just so we can turn around on Twitter in the next couple of days and be like, "That's your player of the year," him. So yeah, I definitely think one of the other danger men is Jorginho.
It says it all, really. When Jorginho was Chelsea's top scorer with 7 goals last season, that just says it all, really. That's obviously why they've got Lukaku. But just touching on Lukaku, everyone's like you say, Courtney, that they're hyping up Lukaku, Van Dijk. But when you think when he was last at Anfield playing for Manchester United, Nathaniel Klein was coming back from a back injury and he had him marked out of the game. And Lukaku, when he takes a touch, it goes out of play anyway. You can't control the ball for Toffee anyway, can he? So I don't see it being a big threat, to be honest. I think there's more threats out there than obviously Lukaku versus Van Dijk. Is there something you want to say? Sorry, Courtney.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that Lukaku's record against us is abysmal. Yeah, like 5 goals or something like that. Something shit. Like there's no way that everyone just thinks that just because he's gone back into the Chelsea squad that he's like had this epiphany and now he's the best footballer on the planet. Yeah. Like, no, it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
He had a good game against Arsenal.
It's Arsenal, though, isn't it?
Yeah. we haven't got them right.
Look, I wish I was as confident as Courtney, by the way, because I need that confidence. You just keep bringing it into the air because look, Pablo Mari is like a leaf in the wind anyway compared to him. It was just blowing this way, blowing that way. But the last time I was actually in Liverpool, it was George and myself were there, and we had watched Liverpool. Yeah, we watched Liverpool United, and we won 3-1. The Shaqiri scores 2 goals, and obviously Lukaku was in the squad there, and as much as I was trying to watch the game and appreciate, obviously I was sitting in the top end and everything, it was more so I wanted to watch Van Dijk versus Lukaku there. And okay, this is obviously, pre the injury, of course, but Lukaku literally just had him by the collar. Van Dijk had him by the collar. Yeah. Just, I want you come this way with me now. Just drags him. Come on, let's go for a walk. Take you this way exactly. Now. And it was unbelievable to watch. So I'm hoping with the confidence of Courtney, of course, that it happens the exact same way.
Yeah, fair enough. Just go back into the comments before we touch on another subject. Joe Marwood, welcome to the chat. Liverpool is the real Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah.
Hector, Joseph, again, thanks for coming in the chat. Keep the chat coming. Yes, it was always a pleasure to be part of this. Love your show. We have got Tiago's father bracing himself here with a comment. Loving the England, Scotland, Australia collab, SSNTF, watching on the way home from Football Terrace. And I did see you on there, Tiago's father. I did see you grilling that Chelsea fan, which was great to see. So obviously getting the Red Sea out there and obviously standing up for yourself, which was great as well. Daly and Barker, main threat could be down or left if Chimikas or Simicast.
Don't you fucking start that now.
Simicast starts. So yeah, obviously that brings us nicely on to the next topic. Actually, I'll come to you, Peter. First of all, if you had to pick your team, just putting you on the spot here, would you start Robbo, who's obviously coming back from injury, or would you play a man who's obviously informing Simicast?
I'm more of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. Yeah. So at the moment, we haven't conceded a goal. We've looked good. He's looked good. There's no, we can start Simicast, not Chimikas, as we cop it over here with our stupid commentators. It's you can start him, and you can introduce Robbo to the game, because what we've seen lately is Tsimikas actually gets a little bit gassed towards the 70th minute, and that's purely because he just hasn't played a run of games, and that's just normal. When everyone's talking about how he gasses out, it's like, hello, have you ever ran or played football before? This is normal to get tired in a match of football.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Especially the way we play, like it's So I wouldn't. I have no issue starting him and then introducing Robbo maybe around the 70th minute to maintain that kind of intensity down that side, because I think their weakness is their right side, to be honest.
Yeah.
So with Reece James defensively, and I just feel like we have no issue starting Tsimikas for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Guys in the chat, let us know what you think. Would you start Robbo or Tsimikas? Courtney, if you were Jurgen Klopp and picking the team at 5:30, well, obviously 4:30 on a Saturday evening, would you start with the man in form in Tsimikas, or would you start with Robbo?
Yeah, so I completely agree in terms of if it's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah, I didn't get it, and I was like, yeah, I completely agree with that. And it's the fact is, what does that say to the players? If he turns around and puts Robbo straight, obviously we all love Robbo, everybody loves Robbo, but if he goes and puts him straight into the squad, all the other players are going to be thinking, even if I have a good run of games, I'm not going to start. And if you've got to build that competition within the squad, because then that's how you get the best out of players. If you've got players where they're turning around thinking, I need to perform every single game, otherwise my spot is taken. When we had Brendan Rodgers, there was no competition in the squad. He put out the same 11 week in, week out, and that's why it didn't go very well. But if you've got competition within the squad, then you've got players that will give 110% every game, because they know that if they don't, they're on the bench. So I feel like you need to start Tsimikas, just out of principle, really. He got man of the match last week.
Yeah.
Why not? Let Robbo rest. Obviously, if it is the point where he's getting gassed out, then he can come on at 70th minute, give him a bit of minutes after his injury. But personally, I just think it would give the wrong message if he turned and then just put Robbo on straight away. And I can't see him doing that, to be honest.
Fair enough. There's a few guys in the chat. Sorry, Peter, were you going to say something, mate? Sorry,
obviously, we know what Jimmy's going to say, don't we? So don't even ask him. Don't even ask him.
No, it's a good discussion point, though. I mean, you think Tsimikas so far this season has had two good games. Norwich he was all right, and then he had a man of the match performance against Burnley, got the assist. Worked like a dog in that game, was absolutely fantastic. But we know what Robbo can do. That's the other thing. You know, Robbo has played against Chelsea many times. He's played against top sides many times, and even though he's been out injured, he's just built differently at the same time. So, do you then turn around and say, all right, Tsimikas, you've had fantastic run of games. For this game, we need Robbo to step back in. It's a hard one to call. I wouldn't want to be in Klopp's position to decide that.
Exactly.
But the point of Tsimikas starting the game, maybe getting to the 60, 70 mark. He's gassed. He's absolutely ran ragged around Reece James and then you bring on Robbo for the next half an hour. That's a great position to be in. So
it's a nice asset to have, isn't it? But just to go into the comments, a few people have said, Yusuf, thanks for coming in, mate. He's gone for Robbo. Jericho, only because it's Chelsea. He's gone for Robbo as well. Joe Marwood, again, thanks for coming in the chat. Tsimikas coming off the back of a top game. Got to get the start. Yusuf again, he said yes, Robbo, because of experience against big teams. And that man Hector, thanks for coming on again. I wouldn't start Tsimikas. Klopp needs to build some confidence in him. Taking him out after 2 games would be harsh. So everyone's same. Majority of people are saying the same thing. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So my only concern with Tsimikas, yes, he's been really good so far in the 2 games. He hasn't really been tested. It's obviously a big game coming up against Chelsea. The only one thing that worries me with Tsimikas is his positional sense. He doesn't seem to be positionally aware of what's around him. So although he's played well, and I think I would agree with obviously Courtney and Peter on this, that Tsimikas has played really well. He deserves to obviously start and maybe bring Robbo on, like Peter said, for maybe the last 20, 30 minutes if Tsimikas is getting tired, just to bring that breath of fresh air and maybe give Reece James another problem to think about as well. But keep the comments coming, Courtney. Yeah, what were you going to say? Sorry.
Oh, we're going to say anything.
All right, I thought you were going to say something.
I'll jump in again on that one then, because it's not like we're trying to create a Robbo versus Tsimikas kind of divide. It's more so, I mean, even though I love arguing with Jimmy, but it's just it's more so, again, you'd like to back the players in these moments, in these situations, to kind of say it is a big game and you have been performing quite well. So why not reward this player with his recent, because in preseason he was our best player.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like he's almost got a better delivery than Robbo. The way he crosses the ball and he finds the player all the time.
Yeah,
I just think you got to, at the moment, you just got to just run with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And defensively, he hasn't been so bad defensively. I feel like that's just a lot of people's kind of way out to try and get Robbo to start again. I think we need to remember that Robbo has also been targeted by Manchester City and a few other teams defensively because he's like an energizer bunny. He's just gone.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, and then sometimes he does get a little bit slow to come back. I don't know. I guess between the two of them, whoever starts, we're lucky. Let's be honest.
Exactly. It's a nice. Sorry, carry on, Peter. Sorry, mate.
I was going to say, and I've just got to support my I am born in Australia, but Greek background, so I've got to support Tsimikas in a way. So yeah, let's go with Tsimikas. Yeah, and I've got a great coffee in my hand, to be honest. So I just thought Courtney had was it wine?
Prosecco.
Yes. Prosecco. Well, I've got Greek coffee, so let's see what I mean. It's the
I'll let you off. Obviously, it is 20-7 in Australia right now, so I'll let you off, mate. Obviously, just waking up as well. Just to come back to the chat, but just to quickly touch upon your comment exactly, Peter, with regards to Tsimikas, it's like what you and Courtney have said. What message does that show the player if he's being voted man of the match potentially in both games, and then to go on the bench? It wouldn't send out the right message, because you're thinking, well, what have I got to do? I've got man of the match in both games, and then I'm starting on the bench. So that doesn't seem fair enough to me. And he's earned his right to get there. Obviously, he wouldn't have wanted Robbo to be injured for that, but he's got his chance, and now he's obviously taken it. So it's up to Robbo now to obviously win his place back. Just to go back in the comments, because there is a few questions on here. Rye Mental, nice to have you on, mate. Do appreciate Mr. Stark, glad to be here. RS and Tiago's father, okay. Yeah, they're absolutely fine. They were on the football terrace in London earlier on this evening, so they couldn't make it tonight. So that's why we've got these, the Aussie and the Jimmy on. Obviously Scottish background, but part of the Red Sea down under. Okay. So yeah, it's like I say, it's nice to have that sort of, well, not a debate, but just to see whatever football's opinion-based sport, and it's nice just to see what people's opinions. It's obviously very divided, but the majority of people are saying Tsimikas to start. So we'll see what Klopp starts with, because obviously the last game against Burnley, he threw a spanner in the works when he started Jordan Henderson and Harvey Elliott. Peter, I'll come to you first. Were you, when you looked at that lineup, was that the lineup you were expecting, or was there a few shots in there?
Oh shit, no! Because because every week on Thursday we do our training ground show, and it's more so a tactical kind of preparation. Also, we kind of predict the lineup and all that kind of stuff. Well, we were wrong. We weren't even close. So it was just one of those surprises. And to be fair, at the same time, I was super excited because it's Harvey Elliott. You know, he's our star boy. He's meant to be that one that's, you know, the next superstar that's going to come through. We've had quite a few, and we're very blessed as a football club to have so many come through at such a good age. And, you know, it looks like he's the next one. But it was actually an interesting topic because the midfield this week, it's almost no one can predict who's going to start in midfield this week. And, I mean, on our show yesterday, we had predicted that it's going to be Henderson, Fabinho holding, and Keita actually keeps his starting position. So I think what better way? Let's move into the whole who's going to start in midfield kind of thing. Because I'm sure everyone in the comments is going to have a different midfield three as well. Yeah,
exactly. Let's go back into here. Dalian Barker, thanks for coming on. It's good to have a few competitions for places as we've not had this for a while, especially after last season. Completely agree. Great question there, Dalian. Joe Marwood, Robbo, a pretty beastly impact. And Yusuf has put a great comment in here. Virgil van Dijk hasn't lost a game at Anfield for 4 years. He hasn't lost.
I tweeted that. He's not lost a game in 4 years at Anfield.
Knock on wood, please. Knock on wood, quick. Just knock on something.
A lot of people have been saying that. I tweeted that, and so many people coming back being like, "Oh, well, that's ending on Saturday. That's ending on Saturday." I'm like, no.
Yeah.
We got faith.
Jeez.
So yeah, we'll go on to the next topic. Obviously, I know it's only a few games in, but Courtney, I'll come to you. Could this season have gone any better so far? What's your take on our performances so far in these 2 games?
I mean, the thing that I'm happiest about the most, clean sheets.
Yeah.
If you don't concede, you can't lose.
Exactly.
So, at the end of the day, like I would much rather be having these clean sheets. We're having good, strong wins, even because normally I think sometimes when we play against teams like Burnley and things like that, can get a bit messy. And I'm always a bit scared when we play against teams like that. We always do better against the better clubs and worse against the shitter ones. But I feel like that win that we got over them, I feel like that cemented it for me. I feel like going for we're just going tunnel vision. We're going for the wins, trying to keep the clean sheets. I think now that we've got our squad back, no injury crisis, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Another one.
Well, I'm knocking on wood today. Then I think we can just keep the momentum going. And I think it's a big thing in football, momentum. I think it's just a case of going, grind them out, look for the next game, get the win, go to the next one. So that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Jimmy, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's been a solid start to the season so far. I think, was it 6 points, 5 goals, none conceded? I think you can't ask for much more than that. And I think the best part is I don't think we've really stepped out of second gear for any moment at all. And I think that shows the quality that we currently have. So coming up to these big games, when we are playing the Chelseas and the other teams vying for top 4, when we're able to do that against the lower clubs and walk away confident with the win, that sets us up in a good position. The interesting part about squad depth, though, is we've played 5 different midfielders in 2 games already, and the only consistent one has been Naby Keita. I don't think any of us would have been saying that 12 to 18 months ago with the way he'd been playing at certain points and with his injuries, everything like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes going forward as well. Yeah,
no problem. It's a shame Thiago's father isn't on this, because I remember Peter, when he came on Red Sea Down Under, he was absolutely slating Naby Keita. So I'll come to you. Obviously, thoughts on Naby, lad? Why just so many people dislike him?
Sorry, I just can't. Look, it's one of those ones with him. It's interesting, right? I think so many people want him to succeed purely because I think the price tag, and obviously having to wait half a season for him. And he seems like he's a bit of a favorite amongst the dressing room. And you know, when he came, his YouTube highlights made him look like he was, we're going to sign this world beater who scores, from 40 yards and wins games on his own. But he's obviously come in. He hasn't been able to get, 4 games in a row or whatever it's been. I think he's been here for 4 years and just cracked the 50 game mark. That's something in itself. I think I don't think people dislike him. I think people are just kind of annoyed that we've got this potential player who can be the answer to games who sit back in deeper blocks. The way he drives with the ball and the way he kind of engages defenses, but he just hasn't been able to do it for us because he's actually never fit. And I actually thought he was better versus Norwich than Burnley. I think a lot of people, like I said, now he'll make a basic pass, and everyone will be like, yes, Naby's back. It's like, okay. Well, Curtis Jones can do the same pass. So it's like, I feel like at the moment within the fan base, there's this massive, like, he's absolutely shit, or he's just so good. Wow, what a turn, or whatever it is. I think there's no in between at the moment.
No, fair enough. Just a few more comments in here. Sean Barker, thanks for keep the comments coming. Alison is doing the business. Exactly what you touched upon there, Courtney. Rai has said, great, Courtney, great points. Evening to Chris, nice to see you on again. Obviously, Chris came on your put in a few comments. He's
a regular. Guy. He's a regular with us, and he's actually very funny as well. So keep them funny comments coming.
He is very, very funny. And just talking about Chris, he's put with regards to Keita not on the hospital bed, having a chat with Jack Wilshere. That man Hector, great to see you in the comments again. I would love to see a Fabinho, Thiago, Keita midfield tomorrow. Keita running through spaces, Thiago for distributing passes, and Fabinho for breaking up Chelsea play. Exactly what you said, Peter, on your show. Chris has said if Keita stays fit for the whole month, miracles can happen. Vegan Rocks, Keita Boston midfield tomorrow. I can see it. And Rye Mentals also said, by the way, I don't think he's been good, but how can he be if he's not playing? Exactly. I mean, I think I've seen a stat from your show, Peter. 54 games he's played in 4 seasons. Was that right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not a lot at all, is it really?
No.
Just over 10.
Not at all.
Yeah, 14 a season, something like that, isn't it? In all competitions, so something like that. Right. Okay. Any more comments on there? No, it's fine.
Sorry, just back on the whole Keita thing. It's not that we don't like him or we don't want him to play. Obviously, we want him to play. He 60 million or whatever it was, and we need every single player doing their bits. It's just we just hope to God that he can get 10 games in a row, and we can finally see this potential that Naby Keita has and that Jurgen Klopp loves so much.
Yeah,
it's just frustrating as fans. That's all. But it's not like we hate him or anything like that. It's just hope to God that we can kind of get him just consistently playing and to see what he's actually capable of doing.
I feel like we did really overhype him though when we bought him, especially since he got the number 8 shirt as well. So it's like he's the next Gerrard, he's coming through. Yeah. And to be fair, in pre-season, I feel like he did perform really well. He was making his way. He was going past players like they weren't even there. It's just him executing that in games, changing that all from pre-season. We're not in pre-season anymore. We're in the Premier League. You need to be doing that then.
Yeah.
In case of exactly. Getting that ball, having that confidence. Because if you've not been playing for a long time and you've always been on the bench, you've always been injured, that confidence is something that he needs to build up. So I feel like he just builds up his confidence and he can start running with the ball, going on his runs, doing his thing. I feel like we'll get the best out of him. It's just him having that confidence to do that and go for it.
No, I agree. Jimmy, would you agree on that?
Yeah, 100%. It's when you've been at a club for 4 years and you can't get a run of 4 games in a row, that's tough. And when you've got a big price tag sitting on your head and you've got millions of fans expecting the world from you, that's even tougher. So I think it could just be the fact that maybe Klopp does want him to get that consistent run and build that confidence. He's had a good preseason. He showed glimpses of what he can do. Maybe if he does get 3 or 4 games, he gets a couple of good games against Norwich and Burnley, steps up against Chelsea, and then keeps going after the international break. Maybe that's what he needs. But we'll have to wait and see. Yeah,
and just to go, because there is actually there's a comment in here from a fellow Red Sea Down Under host, George. Welcome aboard. Whoever starts in midfield will need to create an overload over the 2-man Chelsea pivot. Yeah, exactly. More in the chat here. Imagine Liverpool 1, Chelsea 0. Naby Keita scoring screamer. Sorry, I'm dreaming.
Screenshot that now, just in case.
Yeah, screenshot it. Dalian Barker, thanks for coming on again. Could be Keita, Naby Keita, Kante, Battle of the Midgets. Yeah. I know what Naby Keita, is made of, and it's not, and if not, injury prone. And just a few more comments before we're going.
Grilling him.
Yeah. If he's not injured at the moment, touch wood, so play him. And Sean, again, thanks for coming on. I think Fab, Thiago, and Hendo, which a lot of people have said, obviously, apart from you guys have said Fab, Hendo, and Naby Keita. So just on to the next subject that we're going to talk about, which obviously I know it's quite early on at the moment, but where do you think Liverpool have finished come May? I'll come to you first, Courtney.
I mean, we all know here I'm very confident in our squad. And I feel like I am always going to just put it out there, the positive vibes into the world. And I'm going to say it. I think we're going to win the league. I'm going for it. I'm always going for it. Yeah, got to be confident. Got to go into it confident. Get the positive vibes out. Manifest that shit.
Yeah, no, exactly.
We're going for a Liverpool win.
Exactly. Jimmy, are you as confident as Courtney?
Look, I wouldn't say I was as confident as what Courtney has been the entire show, but realistically, I'd be disappointed if we weren't pushing for the title come May. I think that's the reality. We've got such a great squad. We've just retained a number of key players on long contracts. We haven't made much movement in the transfer window. I know that that's a bit of a separate discussion, but with the quality that we do have, barring any injury crisis like we've had last season, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to get to the end of the season top of the league.
No, exactly. And Peter, would you, if you had to pick somewhere where you think we may finish, are you going to agree with Courtney? Are you going to agree with Jimmy there?
Come on, Pete.
Shit. I think the two favourites are playing each other this weekend, and that's not Arsenal versus City. It's obviously us versus Chelsea. I think they're the two favourites for the title this year, and I think so. This is one of them games that could be, absolutely pivotal to the title race for us to celebrate in May. That's what I'll say.
Fair enough. Just to go up, because you guys are keeping the comments coming. Like I say, they're really good, so keep them coming. Yusuf is going for first. So it's Joe. Yusuf also is very confident with a Champions League under our belt as well. Chris Welsh was saying second. Let's have a look.
Negativity.
Hector Joseph, again, great comment. We're going for the 20th. Yes, I agree. Sean has said tight game, two title challengers. Also, do you think, well, this is off topic, do you think Man United getting Ronaldo puts them as favourites? Me personally, I don't think. I think they need a centre midfielder, to be honest. So no, I mean, I'll come on to, we'll briefly talk about that. Do you think, Peter, that makes them favourites if obviously Ronaldo's
It's funny that comment came out, because I was actually going to ask at some point during the show, because clearly I woke up at 6:15 to kind of get ready for the show kind of thing, and I've just seen like Instagram and Twitter going through the roof, and I didn't know what was happening. I felt like I was in 2008 again, but he's officially gone, 100%.
I believe so, yeah.
He's just needs his medical. Like United have come out and confirmed it. I live in Manchester, so I've never seen so many smiles on people's faces. Everyone is buzzing about it, and I'm just like,
I don't think it puts them as total favourites. I just think what that does now is it just makes them as supporters even worse. It's just I think that's what it does, because they're as bad as they are, and I think this now makes everything a lot worse just to listen to them now and just to see them. Just even looking at them now makes it even angrier.
Imagine the satisfaction where they get even further into debt and they're still finishing below us in the league.
Yeah.
See, that's perfect. See, I want to hear more of that stuff. Give me more of that stuff.
Yeah. That's the satisfaction that you want. Like, they can have their time now celebrating it, but come May, we'll be celebrating.
That's
well, you just have to laugh at them, really, don't you? That's the thing. I mean, when we had one of our worst seasons in a long time, finished third, and we're only 5 points behind them with our injury crisis. It says a lot. They need a lot of reinforcements, not just, well, obviously they just bought Sancho as well, like someone said in the comments there. Sancho's definitely crying at the moment. Just a few more comments in here. I'll just touch upon one. Jericho, nice to see you in the chat again. Too early to make my mind up, so he's sitting on the fence at the moment. Chris, Man United not winning anything under the Norwegian Gollum from Lord of the Rings in charge. Honestly, Joe said puts them favourites for fourth. I think they will actually struggle for fourth position, to be honest. I think Leicester are doing some. The last few seasons, they've obviously been in the top four for most of the season and just narrowly missed out. So I expect Leicester to be up there again and maybe push them for top four. Would any of you guys disagree with that?
Jimmy, you can start.
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one with Leicester, isn't it? Because Brendan Rodgers is a bit of that, you always kind of want to see him do well. He went to Celtic and he done really well up in Scotland. It just seems that Leicester seem to get to the end of the season become really laggy. So whether they can maintain that sort of top four when it comes to me, I'm not sure. Just going quickly back to the Manchester United signing Cristiano Ronaldo thing, for me personally, I think that's more of a financial decision to sell shirts than it is for a football decision to improve what's happening on the field. I think it's more just, it's a nice warm feeling to have Cristiano Ronaldo back in a red shirt, and also to stop him from signing for Manchester City. I don't think there's any football benefit to Manchester United signing him whatsoever.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think they got pressured into it just because they knew that City were going for him. It was kind of them like, nah, we can't have him going there.
Just
think
a panic.
Yeah.
Panic buy then, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's more areas that they need more than anything else. But let's just Chris again saying my brain says we'll finish second, my heart says we'll win the league. Sean said, who keeps filling Courtney's glass? Someone else has said, where is it? If we are able to...
That's my dad. That's my dad. He's coming for me.
If we're able to keep our starting 11 fit for the full season, we should be winning the league. And yeah, I mean, if you go back to obviously not last season, but the season before, when we had a fully fit squad, we absolutely walked the league. I mean, we were 22 points clear before the pandemic started. We finished 18 points ahead of Manchester City, and they only had Laporte out. So we done pretty well in all fairness. But let's just go on to the next thing that we're just going to discuss here, or little of it at the moment. Obviously, transfer business. Obviously, Ibrahima Konate is the only person we've brought in so far. There's rumours of Basuma, of us tabling a £35 million bid in. Jimmy, I'll come to you first. Would you be happy if we got someone like Basuma in?
Yeah, I think it would be a good option to have to add extra depth into the squad. I think there's been quite a lot of furor from the fans because of the lack of transfer activity that we've had this year. And I understand it from both sides of the argument. You know, we want to see players coming in to improve the squad. We didn't have the best season last season because of injury, so we do want those extra numbers. We do want that quality depth as well. But I think the biggest thing that we could have done is actually retain the players that we do currently have as well. A few players have gone out. Obviously, Shaqiri's gone out as well recently. But look, I think for the position that we're in going into the season, or already 2 games into the season, I don't think we can be really grumbling too much about where we're at in terms of the squad depth that we've currently got. If we do bring in 1 or 2 more players before the end of the window, that's great, as long as they're quality players. But I can't really think of a player that Klopp's brought in during his time with Michael Edwards that's really really let us down.
Yeah, so. No, fair enough. And Peter, I'll come to you. I mean, would you be happy to see Basuma in a Liverpool shirt?
I mean, yeah, but we don't need him.
Yeah,
it's something that we need. I just still think we need help up front. We need more weapons up front. We need people, because obviously with the African Cup of Nations, it's going to happen at some point during the year. And you know, I just think that it would be good to have some extra pressure on the people at the top. I don't think that, you know, Basuma, as much as I do like him as a footballer, I just don't think he's not needed right now. Because again, people forget that we have Curtis Jones in the middle of the park. People forget how good he is. You know, obviously there's still Ox, there's still Harvey Elliott at the moment, and we look good there in terms of how many people are there. I just definitely think if we're going to bring anyone in, we know we're not, but if it was, it would have to be for the front. Yeah.
No, fair enough. And someone in the comments has actually hung up a good point, Ryan Mental. Origi plus 30 million for Basuma. Would Brighton take that? Hector saying he could be a great backup to Fabinho. Anyone else think we'd benefit from an out-and-out number 9? And Chris has actually said as well, we need a backup winger and striker to replace Origi. So Courtney, would you agree with Chris there? Do you think they're the 2 main areas that we need to strengthen?
Yeah, I would agree with that with Peter, where he's saying that I don't think we need a midfielder really. I don't feel like maybe like a winger or like a number 9. But to be honest with you, I'm very much I'll trust Klopp in sense that I think if he really wanted a player this transfer window, he would have got it. Regardless of FSG being like, we've not got the money, blah, blah, blah. I think if he wanted a player that badly, he would have got him. It's the sense that Van Dijk, we waited so long for him. I think 70 million. It was the record back then for signing a centre half.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even pay the amount, but we did. We went for him, and I just think Klopp's come out and said if he needed a player that badly, and he thought a player would fix everything and would make everything better, they would go for him, no questions asked. So I have a lot of faith in the sense that if Klopp's not going to go for them, he doesn't think they're right for the squad.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of faith in how he feels, what players are going to add, what players aren't. So I think obviously there's a lot of rumours that go around. A lot of people, they just want to make signings when it comes to transfer window. But I'd much rather wait and next transfer window, get a good signing, get a big signing, like someone that I know that is definitely going to add to the squad instead of just these panic buys.
Yeah.
We've had this all the time where in the past where we've not been able to sign who we want to sign, so we just buy someone else instead. I wouldn't want that. I'd much rather quality over quantity.
Fair enough. No, you all make some good points there. Chris, again, Naby Keita going to be a massive miss when he goes to the African Cup of Nations. Dalian, would love to see us get Lewandowski, but 100 million is ridiculous. Yeah, I agree on that. Rise agreeing with Courtney and Peter there. I agree. We don't need him because he and Naby may leave for African Cup of Nations, which they will do anyway if potentially happens. Obviously, we know at the moment the internationals, on some of them anyway, the Brazilian guys aren't able to travel to the red list countries. So it's potentially will it still happen? We've got some more comments here actually. Why don't we get Doku or Camavinga? We need to stop sleeping on young players. Let's have a look. Ambitious owners are a rarity in today's Premier League. Exactly. I mean, we can't fault the owners. I mean, look what happened when we were with Hicks and Gillette, ran the club into the ground, and obviously we nearly went bust from it. So I can't fault the owners. I think they've done a great job, really, by the way, in securing key players. Alisson, obviously Van Dijk, Fabinho, Robbo. I think Salah's going to be next, and Hendo. So they're creating the key players. We sign them on new contracts, and that's just like new players or new signing anyway. So I agree with yourself, Courtney and Peter, that we don't obviously need anyone. But the only risk if we do get a few injuries, then it may leave us a little bit light.
Don't worry, there's James Milner. We have James Milner. That's okay. Yeah. Don't worry.
Anyway.
Exactly that.
Yeah. So no, there's some good comments. Keep it coming. George again, obviously from Red Sea Down Under. Ronaldo joining United, Lukaku to Chelsea, and Mbappe to Madrid means it's us and City that potentially battle for Haaland. I read somewhere today that I think PSG are going to bid for Haaland before the transfer window ends, so that's going to spoil it even more if that's the case.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, we did sign a centre back in the last window when we needed one. That's when we signed the legendary, the myth Ben Davies and Ozan back, Klopp and Haaland. So yeah, keep the comments coming, but we'll go on to the next topic here. Just want to get your thoughts on the opposition manager. Now, I did discuss this yesterday with some rival fans on my podcast yesterday on the Red Sea Pod, and I just mentioned to them, if Thomas Tuchel was the Liverpool manager, do you think he would have done anywhere near as good as what Klopp's done on a budget that he's done? They said he would probably do just as good. Courtney, I'll come to you first. Would you agree with that?
I mean, he's a good manager. You can't fault him for that. He's world-class manager. He's managed big clubs, and he just seems to be turning Chelsea around since Lampard left.
Yeah.
But in my eyes, there's no manager like there is Klopp.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe in how Klopp is in terms of the sense that I remember he once said, he doesn't buy stars, he makes them.
Yeah.
And I 100% believe that. I definitely think he gets the best out of players, and I think seeing the relationship as well that he has with some of the players on the pitch, like with Alisson, like with Firmino, I think he does just get the best out of players. Like when Firmino first came from Hoffenheim, it wasn't the greatest start. I think he was getting pushed off the ball quite a bit. He needed to get used to playing in the Premier League. And I feel like Klopp just takes certain players under his wing. And then those players, they're not just playing for the club, but they're playing for Klopp as well. And I think when you've got a manager where you want to play for them, you get that extra bit of effort that comes out for them. Do you know what I mean? Because if you've got, it's like if you're at work and your manager and you think, oh, manager's a dick, you're not going to work hard for him because you don't like him.
Yeah.
But when you've got someone there that you think, you know what, I really look up to them, I really admire them, they're a really good coach, I think they put in that extra bit of effort, and I really like. You can see like the way that they hug him. Like Harvey Elliott came off, Klopp didn't even go for the hug, and Harvey Elliott went for it. Like I think the players love him. It's kind of like a father figure in a sense. So I really do think that he just gets the best out of players, both on and off the pitch. So I don't think you can compare him, to be honest.
No, fair enough. Good response to that question. Peter, would you agree with Courtney? Do you think? Obviously, first of all, would you agree that he is a world-class manager? Do you think he would do a good enough job if he obviously was Liverpool's manager?
It's okay. Definitely not nowhere near do as good enough job as Klopp has. But if you look at his career, he's almost tried to follow. Like he started at Mainz, just like Klopp. Yeah. Then he went to Dortmund, just like Klopp. And then he made his big move to PSG. And you know, a world-class manager wins a Champions League with PSG. I think that's something that it's almost easy for them to, and he didn't do that with PSG, and he actually struggled a little bit towards the back end of his time with PSG because the players, from reports, just didn't want to do the work he demanded to do, kind of thing, you know, because his style of coaching is like, because he studied Pep when he was with Dortmund and Mainz to try and learn the whole total football side of things, but clearly he's inspiration also is Klopp. So you can also tell that in the way he does that with Chelsea now. He's kind of got a balanced kind of possession-based football approach, but with that element of get forward as quickly as possible. I mean, if you go in our training ground show, you know, if you go back for people who love stats and all that kind of stuff, if you look into that show, we kind of touch on his style of play and the way he does things. Would he do as well as Klopp? The answer is 1,000,000% no. But is he a world-class manager? I think he's on the verge of being one,
Yeah, no, definitely. And Jimmy, I'll come to you before just go into the comments, and then we'll go on to obviously our predictions, what we think the score is going to be tomorrow night. So Jimmy, what's your take on that first of all?
Yeah, for sure. I think very similar to what Peter's saying. I think he is a fantastic manager. I don't think you can deny that. I think the work that he has done in the past shows for itself. But I always think if Thomas Tuchel came into Liverpool the same time that Klopp came into Liverpool, would we be where we are today? The answer is no.
Yeah.
I think we would be better than where we were, 100%. I have no doubt about that. But I don't think we would have the relationships that the players currently have with each other, with the staff, with the club, with the fans. I don't think what we have now we would have if it wasn't for Klopp. So no, I can't deny what he's done, and what he probably will do in the future will be some amazing things. I mean, he pulled a Roberto Di Matteo and won a Champions League in 4 months. So that's fantastic. But I don't think we would be where we are if we had brought him in as opposed to Klopp. I don't think he could work the same magic. Yeah, fair enough. All good points. Guys in the comments, keep them coming as well, because there is some great questions which I'm just going to go through now. Just a second. So Katie, thanks for coming in the chat. I generally think Klopp's happy with the midfield options, judging by his press conferences. But the attack, I don't think he wants Origi.
Neither do I.
Joe Marwood, again, keep the comments coming. To be fair, anyone that can win the Champions League with that Chelsea squad is decent. Chris, bold opinion, Tuchel doesn't win anything this season with Chelsea and not in the title race, he'll be sacked, potentially. I mean, like you just said there, Peter, with, what was it, Roberto Di Matteo, I think he won the Champions League and then he was sacked 6 months later. Ranieri as well, finished second one season as well and got sacked. So Chelsea are a sacking club, so if you don't win something, then they will obviously... They will sack you. Chris, again, Jurgen Klopp with glasses or without glasses. What's he said? Rye Mental said, "I need him with glasses." Chris laughing out loud.
Me too.
Chelsea, Man City. Chelsea, Man City, PSG have more money than God. Klopp celebrations will never get old. Katie again, great another one. I don't think Tuchel will last after this season. It's got all the hallmarks of a Chelsea honeymoon period. He'll fall out with Abramovich eventually, like his previous bosses. Anything else? So yeah, there's some great comments there. We'll just touch on the final subject, which is the prediction for tomorrow's result. Jimmy, I'll come to you first. What do you think what's your prediction going to be, and scorers, if any, please, mate?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a really good battle, but I do think we are going to edge it. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. And
2-1.
I think I think Diogo Jota is going to keep up his form, and Mohamed Salah is going to haunt his old team again.
Fair enough. Peter?
I predicted it was going to be a 2-1 win or a 1-1 draw.
All right. Okay, no problem. And Courtney?
I'm going to go with a 1-0 win to Liverpool. I feel like it'd be quite close. I feel like it could be a case of whoever scores first, that's theirs. I feel like it's going to be quite a tight game. Even though I still think we're going to come out on top, I feel like it will be quite tight. So I'd probably go with a 1-0 win. And if we're going for goal scorers, we'll go Salah. We'll go Salah.
Okay.
Club.
Well, obviously me and Southern Scouser have both got 2 out of 2 correct. So obviously I'm on a bit of a roll. I've actually predicted 2-1 as well. And I've gone for the same goal scorers as what Jimmy's just said there, Salah and Jota. I'm hoping it's going to be 3 out of 3 correct. Just going to the comments here. Chris has said Peter loves to laugh.
It's true, I do.
I think Tuchel is just a B-Tech Klopp. Yeah. B-Tech, sorry. B-Tech.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Joe Marwood's gone 2-0 solid win. Rye Mental, I hate predictions because I'm such a pessimist. Chris, 2-0 to the Reds. Hector, again, 3-0 Thiago to score. Decent.
That's nice.
Chris has gone for Alexander-Arnold and Firmino to score. Yusuf's gone for 5-3. All right.
I can't do that right now. No, thank you.
No, me neither.
Not right now.
And Vegan Rocks is gone for 2-0. Obviously, that's all the things that we're going to discuss today. Is anything you guys want to add before we close up?
Yeah, why not? Give us your starting 11. Because I think people in the comments would love to know in terms of obviously starting midfield 3, in terms of predicting also front 3. Because the back 4 speaks for itself. Yeah, for anyone really, just to throw out there who'd you start at the front, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll obviously Alisson in goal for a start. Obvious. Trent, Virgil, Matip, and Tsimikas. I think Fabinho will be there. Hendo will be there, and Naby Keita. And I think it'll be Salah, Mane, and Firmino who start. Any of you guys disagree with that?
That'd actually be my
same lines.
Yeah, I'd start the exact same kind of starting 11. And it's funny, we mentioned with the whole Tsimikas, if they ain't broke, then fix it. Then I think we've got to mention Naby Keita in the same breath. Yeah, because he has started the 2 games that we have done so well in. So I think he deserves his start as well. The only reason why I've changed Jota for Firmino to kind of go against what I just said, is purely for that defensive reason, to cut out the supply to Jorginho. No,
fair enough. Courtney, Jimmy, would you guys change anything from what I've said, or would you go with that team?
No, I'd go with that, and I always go with the Bobby start, anyways.
Yeah.
I love Bobby.
Yeah.
I just like his work rate, everything. I just love it about him. Obviously, Jota, you can't fault him 2-2, but
no, fair enough. Yeah, you can't.
I think Firmino, when you bring him on, it's just a whole new game. Then I feel like he just adds something to the squad. I feel like passing in between, his work rate, everything. I feel like he just sets the tone then for the game. So I would go with Firmino.
Yeah, no.
Jimmy,
I
anything
would
you want to add on to that?
Yeah, no, I would agree with what's been said. I find the Jota Firmino discussion quite
Yeah.
interesting because they both bring different dynamics to the game. So what Jota's brought in the first 2 games has been absolutely fantastic, and he's been consistent for the last 12 months. But what we need in this game is what Firmino can do. And there's a lot of questions about his output in terms of goals, and they have obviously dropped off in the last couple of seasons, which is a little bit frustrating from a striker's perspective, but you cannot fault his all-round game. So maybe this is when he comes in, he does that, he hassles where he needs to, he really breaks things down, and then you've still got the option of Jota on the bench. That's a pretty good position to be in, where I think a few seasons ago we would have wished for to be in a position like that.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. All good comments, like you say, keep them coming. Just a few more predictions in the chat. Katie, thanks for your prediction. You've gone for 2-1 as well. Ryan Mental said, I hope you're right. SMS. Jericho's gone for 7-0.
One's dreaming.
Yeah. Well, it'd be nice if that happens, but I honestly can't see it.
I'm confident with that.
Yeah.
If they win 7-0, I'll do a show. I don't know, naked. I don't. Yeah, that's it. Like, whatever.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
Just that.
Thank you.
Chris has said Reece James struggles to tie Alexander-Arnold's laces. Dalian, again, thanks for the comment. 2-0 Liverpool, Alisson double. I'd love that. Chris Welsh, again, he's gone for Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, Salah, Jota, Mane. Apologies to a certain player I missed out. Rye Mental said Jota instead of Firmino. Chris, we might have to start Kit just in case he gets injured on the bench.
Not pulling any punches, is it?
It's beautiful.
Rye Mental. I'm old school. Do you change your winning team much? No, you don't.
No.
Imagine Klopp playing 4 attackers. It would be nice, but I can't see it that much, unfortunately. George said maybe us from a set piece with Verge is a thing that could happen. And Chelsea have conceded the fewest chances in the league, so I'd like to see Jota start. Yeah, again, guys, I want to see Keita to prove me wrong. Fair enough. Yeah, all good comments. Appreciate them. It's obviously been a great show. Obviously, coming up on the Red Sea podcast, we've got transfer deadline Tuesday, and I'm not sure if we're doing another Fab 4 next Friday. I'm sure Southern Scouts will put something out on there. Peter, have you got anything coming up on Red Sea Down Under? Yeah,
Monday, our standard show, our kind of review show that we just get on and abuse each other. So that's the one that's on Mondays, as always. And also every Thursday we do our training ground show. Now, obviously, there's no matches next weekend, but we do have something planned that obviously for the people who like, in-depth analysis and something a bit more tactical with some graphics that we've forever improving with. We're trying to just, we'll definitely put something up for those people as well.
No problem. And obviously, with you being new to obviously the UK's version of the Red Sea Pod, where can our Twitter followers find you there, mate?
Yeah, that's it's simple, just at the Red Sea Down Under, at Red Sea Down Under. And that's something that we've actually really enjoyed so far with the whole partnership with everybody. We get along just fine, which is good. There's a lot more of us in the 4. So we're trying to having, like, for example, Jimmy was trying to struggle to get people like Jimmy involved, and we'd love to get him more involved and some other ones as well. But also with you guys to do more crossovers like this. It feels like one of those Marvel DC crossovers. Yeah. And the more we do this, the better. Yeah, definitely. So obviously we can find Jimmy, what's your Twitter for you, just in case anyone wants to follow yourself, or Peter there, if you just give your Twitter name just to the podcast here. And, so it's at Peter K08. That's it. It's simple as that. So at Peter K08. Okay. And Jimmy, what's your Twitter handle, mate?
Yeah, just at Nicholson Jimmy. and then underscore at the end. Almost as
Yeah.
simple.
No problem. And Courtney, what's yours? Just for obviously anyone that's wanting to follow yourself there.
Yeah, well, building followers at the minute. I've hit the 8K mark now.
Yeah.
Show off.
At Courtney B _XXX. Not showing off, I'm just proud.
Obviously, you can find me at Stephen Stubbs 985. Obviously from the Red Sea podcast as well. I do have my own channel, so just links are going to be in the bio on our Twitter page at the Red Sea podcast and the Red Sea Down Under. Just to finish off on a couple of comments before we go. A lot of love for the Aussies. Rye Mental, love the Aussies. I'll finish off, obviously, Chris. I'd rather watch Teletubbies than the international break. Joe Marwood, thanks for your comment. Enjoyed seeing the Aussies. We'll definitely be checking out Red Sea Down Under. So you've got a few people on there. Take care. All I'm off to try and get sleep unless people get rattled by my opinions. So yeah, I mean, obviously we'll finish it there. Obviously, guys, Peter, appreciate you coming on. Jimmy as well. Appreciate you coming on, especially with being so early in the morning. Courtney, again, thanks for coming on. And most importantly, anyone that's new in the chat, please give us a like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter as well. Obviously, all our Twitter handles we've just said out there. But yeah, keep the comments coming. We do appreciate them. But until next time, this has been the Red Sea podcast. I'm Statman Stubbs, and thanks very much for your time.